Good evening and welcome to the Zeldathon Show podcast. Today is March 1st, 2020. I am your host this week. I am MoJo, and I would love to welcome our friends in the call and IRL. I have with me the one and only Douggernaught.
Hello.
And then here we have Ganon11. Can
Hello.
you say something so that we can see if they can hear you too? And then over here,
said something.
excellent. We have the one and only Shadow_Temple. There's no W involved.
How did I get here? I was just eating pizza a moment ago. God, wait, what is this?
I stole your pizza because we have to do a show.
You stole this pizza. Are you gonna steal these?
I'm gonna try. Yes.
Well, welcome. How's the sound for everybody? Those of you who are watching, you may have bonus cat cam type footage. Maybe.
One can hope.
I closed the door.
The cat strolls this way.
We shut the door. It is less likely for us to have cats here. Good evening to chat. How is everyone doing? Look at all of these nerds. Hi, Dinomation. I can see you. You are also a nerd.
Turn up Ganon a little bit.
Turn up Ganon a little bit. Uh-oh, am I going to be able to do that from here?
Can you right click him?
I just
If
tried.
Shadow can have a mic on cam, I'll have a mic on cam.
You already do.
He just did. He just moved it, I think.
There we go.
And now there's two then.
You have to understand, my main game here is that
Is that better,
hide,
Tylenos?
like Home Improvements, Mr. Wilson just kind of hiding his chin at all times.
Yeah.
Well, hello there, neighbor.
Well, we have, we're
Well,
losing.
if I sit up, then
I know.
I have to slouch, which I'm okay with. Go to bed, please.
Hi. Good night.
There
Okay, there's
is?
no cat in here. Hi. Good night, Gus. Everyone say
Gus.
good night to Gus.
Everyone says good night.
Gus snuck in.
Hi,
Hello,
Gus.
Gus.
The fourth guest.
Sorry.
I love you.
I'm so sorry.
They can all see you. Everyone can see you. Everyone is saying good night to
The
you.
internet can see
Tylenos,
Gus.
Hop Up, Dark Cobra, Mr. Wilson. You want more music? Less music.
More people. More not us's.
Yeah.
How's that? All right.
All right.
Get in
Everyone,
your bed.
see, everyone says good night, Gus.
Yeah, everyone is saying good night to you. Catherine says good night. Kane says good night. Aura says good night. Twister says good night.
Good night.
Herb says good night. So please get in your bed right now.
I'll say that the internet is never wrong. The internet says.
Huh?
This is
You
now-
want this on? Okay.
This is now the Good Night Zeldathon show.
That's a book. We could talk about that. Oh, hey, that may be my contribution. We were talking about this earlier in preparation because all of us are kind of veterans to the Zeldathon community, and we've been to a couple of, our fair share of marathons. And
Thon or two here.
bye, Sweet Pete. You can leave the door open. Or not. Okay, bye. And then, what would be an interesting topic of conversation? What's everybody's contribution been like? Is there anything special? And my suggestion was for you, talking about Art Hour and how you just are delightful and turn something into something much bigger.
Well, much like art has been established to be, it was entirely a happy accident. Because I happened to be awake at 2 a.m. and MC was like, "Hey, can you host a brand new segment that we've never done before?" And I was like, "No pressure, but sure." And it exploded into Art Hour, and we've done it 3 times now,
It's
and it's been
amazing.
great. Yeah.
It's so fun because we have so many artists. Shout out to all the artists in the community. Anyone who is an artist in the community, put in a 1 in the chat. Anybody who has patronized an artist in the community who has
Who's purchased things
Who is-
from an artist in the community? That's a loaded term, I think.
And anybody who has looked at an art before.
yeah,
and
anyone
said,
who
"Man,
has
that's a sweet
appreciated
art, put it
the
free."
art that the Zeldathon community has brought together, whether it's just something that you've seen and you're like, man, that's amazing, Dinomation, I didn't know you could paint so well, or like, Catherine, somebody stuff. Anybody, put a 4 in chat if you have anything I knitted.
We're about to get annihilated by 4s, I think.
Excellent. It sounds like the prizes from. Oh, there's coming out of the. That was almost like you were ready in case this came up.
I keep it stashed here for
He's
emergencies.
sticking to the script.
I love it.
The script.
See, you're actually keeping things, keep things close to the chest. The only thing I have close to my desk, other than pure detritus, is a framed picture of the High Inquisitor Barnum from Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
That's
It's the only
really
thing I got
cool.
in a second.
Only the bare necessities.
Only the bare necessities.
That's
A piece
incredible.
of pizza, a little bit of wine, and this picture, framed picture of
Incredible.
Sound far away?
Well, maybe you could move
Good
the
talk.
music over to this screen, turn it down a little bit, and crank this up, and that way you wouldn't affect that.
How do I
screen too
How do I move it over here?
much. Very
Like,
quickly?
is it bad audio?
Okay.
Like I'm recording on like a different microphone halfway through the room, or
One
like,
second.
Just
Live scene
All
composition.
right. Technical difficulty.
And we're
It's
back.
not difficult. It's just we have to make the music
All right.
even quieter.
Oh, that's
We could just kill the music.
yeah. All right.
All right. Great. No more background music. We love you, Carlos. That's another way. That's another kind of art is music.
yeah.
Speaking of music, there's a contribution that Ganon 11 has provided. Occasionally,
Seldomly, but definitely has happened.
it has happened. You shared some of your musical talents with us. You were you in the Disney singing spontaneous happenings?
Some of them
I imagine so.
at some marathon.
That's some marathon. Fabulous. Yeah. And then Shadow, we were talking about things that you've done. You've done so much, but a lot of it is really kind of behind the scenes. People aren't necessarily going to see, like, you built a lighting rig that nobody would have noticed.
Yeah, no, I've done little things here and there. I think my biggest contribution that doesn't show up too much is that I was actually the one who started the water bottle business for Zeldathon.
That's so true. That's absolutely true. This is the first water bottle that you brought for a
I think
water
so, yeah.
themed.
Somewhere around there.
Drinking
But yeah,
water,
no,
technically.
there was a big problem back in like Zeldathon when it was on the moon, where like we all had just we would buy like 48 packs of like disposable water bottles, and number one, bad for the environment, not a great idea. Number two, like people just wouldn't throw them away,
Or
so
finish them.
they would just pile up everywhere. And so I was like, we
Two
need water
six-packs.
bottles, and then like the directors were like, but where are people gonna fill them? And I was like,
Was
I'm
it
gonna buy a
response?
water cooler, load up my
Responsibility.
HHR with like 5 water tanks, and I'm gonna drive all the way to the moon to get water to Zeldathon so we can stop using all these disposable water bottles.
And it was such a good move. And now we have, what, 18 water bottles or something?
Yeah, we got a lot of water
A
bottles.
lot of water bottles.
Deluxe.
And that
Chris?
shout
a
out
lot.
to, by
Yes.
the way, MoJo and others also for picking up on that after I stopped making engineering amounts of money because I was just buying them myself.
The call outs. Thanks.
But that is a contribution. That's a very important one.
I was just
Like,
going to talk
that-
about
that
me
has
being
been
a knitter, but okay, I accept. I'm
That
supposed to be
knitter's also
hosting
very
here. I think
great.
we're all hosting, and we're all like this
Well,
is
that's one of the strengths of the
The
Zeldathon
chemistry.
team is everyone brings something different. Many people are very good hosts.
correct.
Many people play games really well. Some people are musicians. Some people are artists. Some people are great at setting up things behind the scenes, as we've already talked about. Many people fill any number of those roles. Some people just go to the events and hang out and make everyone feel good.
Yes.
So-
There are people who aren't even on camera for maybe even 10 minutes or less of the marathon, and their contribution is instrumental to the success of the entire. I call it a show. Look, we call it a show here. It's called the Zeldathon Show tonight. Even, was that a mustache for
No,
me as well?
yeah, well, sure, but I was pointing at the show.
Hang on. How does Clinket make Zach's facial hair? I think it's like this.
Which iteration?
This iteration.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about the wonderful roles that everyone fills.
We were going to talk about how we had a throwback to having all disposable water bottles.
Yes.
When we had water bottle.
I think it was response because it was
Okay.
the orange ones.
It
that
was
were
one of the
handed out.
orange
Yep.
ones
Were handed out during the final
during the finale.
awards. Yeah.
There, I was so stressed out. So that was one of the times that it was me. I was the responsible party for contacting and in being in contact, and it was a winter marathon. And they're like, "Oh, we're good. Everything's great." And I'm like, "It sounds great, but you haven't charged me yet for these. I still have your money in my bank account." They're like, "It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine." And then I was like, "Okay, they're supposed to ship on the 19th of December. They were supposed to arrive." And so I was sending them ahead of time. I was not having them delivered to my house and then having to put them in a suitcase. And they weren't there. And I was like, okay.
Narrator voice. It was not fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like probably Ganon11 watched me use my president business voice on the phone a couple of times, and I ended up like the vice president apologized to me directly and gave us an incredible discount and said they'll get there by the 8th of January. And I said, well, we're leaving the 4th. And the camera's cut on the 2nd. And so they showed up on the 2nd. It was incredible. They're like, oh, it's the holidays. This doesn't happen. I'm like, please.
It's gonna be a Christmas miracle then.
I'm like, fix this. Please don't make me use my mom voice. Just fix this. Just fix this.
Hey MoJo,
Yes.
MoJo.
Yeah.
Hey MoJo.
That doesn't get my mom voice. I have something
Hey
called
MoJo.
alarm fatigue, where I stop hearing things if they're repeated.
Oh,
Poor
so I
Lau.
just gotta go MoJo.
Yeah, it's like
Too much
We
me.
get the
Let's
mom
talk about
voice
Doug some more.
it's like the worms.
Which
of
is something
Doom.
that I've often repeated. Let's talk about Doug more.
Let's talk about Doug
Oh
more.
no, let's talk about Ganon a little bit. Ganon has contributed in every arena. In fact, back when we had named awards, you were one of the few people who has received
Hold on.
the
Which
specific
way do I
accolade.
have to slide to make this work? My award's back there.
Zoom,
Correct.
One in the middle.
enhance, zoom in, jack of all trades.
Yeah, mine is
Hold on.
right there.
I zoom
my
by
trophy.
moving the monitor, but I'm not actually going to do
I
that.
see you, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, so that was the first marathon I attended was Zeldathon Wild, which, gosh, how many years ago was that now?
It was
3 years?
Had to
two
be
and a
at
half
least
summers.
30 years
17
ago.
in the summer. So 3 years almost.
Yeah.
Minimum
almost,
30.
almost 3 years. And yeah, I showed up, I think, a day late because I was coming back from a vacation in Bali, which was incredible.
That's right. I remember that.
He was so tired. At the
I got back. I had been traveling, like, I had taken 4 different flights to get there.
Bless
I had
you.
been traveling for 24 hours in total, with like I slept on the planes, but the kind of sleep where like you sleep for 5 minutes and then you wake up because someone bumps you, and then you sleep for 5 minutes and then the plane jostles a little bit. So I went to sleep for like 20 hours and woke up and then just dove into everything I could. You need to be on audio station. I figured out audio station. You needed me to do tech. I would do tech. Donation station. I'll donate all the stations. I think the only thing I didn't do was social media that marathon.
I don't think we had
Which-
official social media.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
I
think it was
think-
modified at
Sure
that
is the
point.
thing.
Yeah.
We had people passing around the phone. I thought.
The Snapchat phone.
It
right?
was not
Yeah.
official though. It was like, hey, Snapchat.
Oh, even at that point, I don't think tech and audio were even official. It
Nope.
was just like,
No,
please
it's just-
release me. It's been 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like, we need people here or else things die.
Yeah. Which
That was the
I
gist of
mean, we want to talk about improvements that have been
Yeah,
made. to
speaking of
Zeldathon.
contributions,
Yeah.
we have the scheduling team right here. You two.
Say hello to the scheduling team.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We
We're
make your
smiling right
marathon
now.
long.
We haven't started scheduling.
We haven't been told to do anything.
No.
Yeah, but
We
like this
can't
is
yet.
this is legitimately a problem that we set out to solve, and not we personally, because we've only been a relatively recent addition to the team. But like, let's talk about audio station. Audio station used to be like, hey, I've been sitting here for 8 hours balancing these 2 levels, which really doesn't need that much attention, but like might need attention at any moment, so I can't leave. Can you take this over while I go to the bathroom and grab dinner? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll sit down for 15 minutes. And I sat down for 8 hours because
Yeah.
the person went to use the bathroom and went to get dinner, and then was like, oh, I've been doing this for 8 hours. I'm suddenly free of these responsibilities. I'm going to go live my life
Or sleep.
or sleep
Yeah.
or be on camera or
It's
do
not
whatever.
the call out show. No one's being a scumbag.
No.
Everyone
No,
did
No.
it.
Everyone's doing
It
their,
was just
their
like-
level best. Well,
It
remember
was
back when
awful.
Steenis...
It was awful for anyone who got stuck there for hours and hours with no one, like. So the improvement there was, all right, what if we assigned people to 4-hour shifts?
It'll
You
never
volunteer-
work. How could
You
we
volunteer
ever
a
be
couple of
organized?
times throughout the marathon, and that's it. And now you know that when you step on, you're only stepping on for at most 4 hours, and then you're done, and then you don't do it again for up to like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
You
longer.
can
Yeah.
sleep.
Good for your health.
It's good for
we're
your health.
trying to balance everything out.
Socializing.
A little peek behind the curtain for those of you who aren't aware. There are 3 main goals of Zeldathon. We want the charity to have a good time. We want the consumers to have a good time. And we want the team to have a good time. One of the ways to have a good time is to like have balance and your work-life balance. And a lot of people come to Zeldathon because to work. They're like, I'm going to do stuff. I have a task. I'm going to play games. I'm going to be good on Donation Station. I'm going to do events. Alex Trevino as an example, like the event king. I feel like sometimes he hasn't like as many events as there are days in the marathon or more. Yeah, absolute lad.
That tracks.
As an example, it's a positive call-out show.
Okay,
Let's go.
It is the call-out show. Excuse me, I misspoke.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the things. And one of the first marathon that we did, it was like, okay, this is a thing. What's a way that we can improve it? And Gannon and I at the meeting said, can please anyone, you all can do this. We all believe in you, and if you can't do it right now, you can be taught, you can learn. All of you could learn how to do these things and support the team. Twice as many people volunteered. It made it even more comfortable, and everybody had even more opportunity to like do their like official scheduled part. It was amazing.
And I think part of that too, though, is like by kind of reaching out the way you guys did, allowed people to feel like they could try to step into a role that they would otherwise not usually be comfortable in, like in a way that they're like, oh, before I never felt like I could do audio because it was really intimidating and I don't really want to ever give that a shot. But now that there's like a volunteer list and it's like, we need people on these things, then it's like, oh, well, I could probably try. If other people could do it, I could probably do it too.
Well, it's a lot of it is not expecting to know that you know how to do things and then just filling in or being inspired by other people, because Jem won an award for doing so much audio at one of the marathons. They all blend together as we talked about, but I think that was really inspiring that like, my first time ever, didn't think I could do it, and then I did it for half the marathon and now I'm an expert. So that's really inspiring.
Yeah, in other words, thank you scheduling team for allowing Steenus to sleep sometime.
He got an award.
He got an award for sleeping.
Yeah.
Steenus got an award for not sitting in the same chair.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt himself.
Perhaps jarring topic change. Let's, instead of talking about the past of Zelda, I know, right? Let's segue into possibly like a little bit of the future. Who besides you
Future of Zeldathon.
The future, specifically the next event.
Everything will be chrome.
Did you go to AOTS? Were you at?
I did not go to AOTS. So AOTS would have been my second marathon, except the vacation time just did not work out. I think I was putting on my own event.
I was literally at work that entire weekend, tuning in from my day job, enjoying the show. But Doug and Shadow both got to showcase some games that are obviously not Zelda games. And it was really cool. For those of you who aren't aware, this is my brother, my literal IRL sibling.
Ta-da! That's why they're in the same place.
This is the first time they'll
it's
have
true.
heard
Welcome
this.
to the 10,000. Douggernaught and MoJo are siblings.
Doug didn't just break in for the show today?
No.
No, well, I mean,
that's how I joined the team. Was
True.
nepotism.
This is my contribution to Zeldathon. I did this.
Set up to a great sitcom. Like someone broke into somebody else's house and now they're best buds.
I'm your brother now.
Well, there are lots of reasons. Like we could be roommates. We've been roommates in the past, including as adults. Sometimes, Shadow, you have somebody on who, like, isn't your sibling and isn't just your roommate, right? Like,
yeah.
So, just for clarification, is my baby brother.
To give you the chronology as well.
Gannon loves that term, baby brother, by the way. He's
emoting.
He's real mad right now.
30 years old. I'm not the baby anymore.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, try telling everyone that.
Yeah, try telling...
I do.
The rest of the generations. Yeah. But I have a long storied history of watching you play video games because you've always been better than me, even though I am older than you chronologically. Your skill set is...
According to you, we never let you take turns.
Look, we had a socialist construct when it came to screen time when we were growing up, and there are two of us here, and there are two more siblings that are not pictured. So the four of us shared a Nintendo. I owned the Zapper. You owned the cartridge. one of our other brothers had the NES console, and the other one had the 2 controllers. We split it evenly among us. And
Dang.
yeah, the workers own the means of production. I get it.
Well, I mean, it was $100 when we got it new, when we were small, and so $25 of each of it was divvied up so that it was this massive gift that was divided. But also our ability to use it was based on shared screen time. So we realized that it was a better use of our combined screen time to not waste it on me falling into pits as Mario or standing against the TV with the zapper touching the screen. It was just not worth it.
Hacks.
So I have been trained since a very young age, since the beginning of my gaming, when we were playing on a Commodore 64 and an Atari 400, to sit in the co-pilot seat and backseat game. Which is one of the things that I love about Zeldathon too, because I totally get to just sit on the couch and provide commentary and know about the game without being able to control my destiny with a controller in my hand at all. But we, like, you and I cut our teeth on Balderdash and Spy vs. Spy, and we died a lot on Battletoads without the Game Genie.
Yeah, it really helped, like, among my peers and people my age. Why did the screen just disappear? I would love it to come back, please. All right, great. Some secret technical issues that we could have ignored, but here we are.
A mouse.
But yeah, like, among people my age, I was the only one that had, like, played an NES a lot and, like, really cut my teeth on that, because everyone else had, like, a Genesis or a Super Nintendo or an N64 and stuff, which we didn't get until later, but we sort of skipped that.
What did we skip?
We skipped the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
We went from the NES to the N64.
I feel like the next time I touched this controller was the GameCube, only because I tortured you, because I had to go make a snowman that wasn't the right dimensions.
Well,
you needed to play Mario Sunshine.
Are we gonna talk about Animal Crossing?
Oh my gosh, can we talk about Animal Crossing?
I am so excited for Animal Crossing. Pop off in chat if you are too.
Marissa's popping off in chat in spirit.
I'm ready for Doom Eternal.
Well, you can do both.
Yeah.
Truly shared screen time.
Yeah.
I have never tried an Animal Crossing game. Part of me thinks that I should try, just because, like, people are super hype about this one.
Do you
but
want another job?
These are also the same people who tell me, like, oh, if you love Stardew Valley, you'll love Animal Crossing, and I didn't love Stardew
You didn't love Stardew Valley?
You know what I loved, Shadow?
What did you love?
I loved lazy Sunday afternoon farming.
Yeah.
I loved that segment. And, like, inspired by you, I got Stardew Valley. And I played Stardew Valley for probably 5 to 10 hours. Oh, it does not come across as a stressful game when you watch someone else play it.
Time
but to
management.
me, it was a very stressful game.
I've played it for 3 hours,
well.
I think, total. Like, you gifted it to me on Steam so that I could play it on your stream once when I was in the same part of the country as you are. And I just sat and, like, ran around your multiplayer land, Shadow. That was it.
Yeah, I have 93 hours on Stardew Valley. I loved that game like a.
I played it with Catherine for the first year of the game, and then I was done. I was like, you know what? I feel like we've done everything. Can we play Minecraft now?
Can I interest you in more time with ketchup? Yes.
So, like we were talking about, AOs.
AOs. So, tell me about some games that you super love that we're open to potentially seeing at Parallel Worlds now that it's not held to just being the Zelda franchise.
Yeah, so for those not in the know, we have all been submitting our games to be considered to be played at Parallel Worlds.
Yeah, actually, real quick, let's talk about what even Parallel Worlds.
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
On that first.
Do you want to
Well,
take that?
you see, it's all about not pressing the A button.
Yeah. Always
All right.
B. Nothing but B.
Who's on it?
Half A press.
playing?
Shadow Temple,
those
will you
Bs in
please
chat.
tell me what we mean? We keep talking about Parallel Worlds, which is also on the overlay.
Who, me?
Yes, please, Shadow.
Oh, okay. Hi. So Zeldathon is a charity gaming marathon that we do once every 6 months. Should be mentioned,
Oh,
just in case someone wandered in here and they're like, what is this? Yeah, no, we spend like almost a week playing video games and try to raise money for a wonderful cause. Parallel Worlds is going to be like a new version of Zeldathon, where, with Zeldathon we played Zelda games, and now we're not. I'll take my check in the mail.
Yeah,
Hey!
so similar to anything other than Zeldathon, we're going to spend the entire marathon playing games that are not Zelda. Those games could be Metroid games. They could be Resident Evil games. They could be games from Valve. They could be games from Blizzard. They could be Sega games. They could be PlayStation games. They could be other Nintendo games. They could be PC games.
What?
Anything, as long as it's not Zelda.
Yes.
Yeah, Tyler mentioned shout-outs to those of us who submitted Zelda games for Parallel Worlds, and technically I did.
Just can't get away.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I did, but it depends on how pedantic you're being.
Jamie had a very good tweet about his submission of Twilight Princess.
Jamie legitimately submitted Twilight Princess.
Did he legitimately? I haven't actually looked at the submission list.
Well, we can't see the list, but
that's right. We're not allowed
we've
to
seen
see,
the format of a submitted. Now, he could have said it, taken the screenshot, deleted it, but probably not. He probably left it there.
No one fakes tweets. You think he'll do that? Just
no one lies on the internet.
Tell lies. So for the past month, the team has been submitting games that they would like to see played. Submitting things like, we estimate that it's going to take us this long to play this game. We're going to, we have ideas to do these kinds of incentives to make it fun for people to watch, to incentivize donations to our charity, which I don't know if that's been announced yet, so I won't talk about it. Also, I forgot. So even less chance that I can talk about it ahead of time. But those submissions closed last night.
Yeah.
Everything's in.
So for those of us who have submitted games, and it sounds like maybe all of us have.
I submitted 4 games.
What are some games that you guys submitted?
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Yes. It's not out yet, so I couldn't really deliver a perfect estimate of what we would do or how much time it would take. But, I mean, even as soon as the announcement dropped, we were all in the room.
Crossing.
We were all in the room, and we were like, we could do like a fishing tourney. We could do like a little bug off. We could just hang out. We could, build a Zelda-shaped room or something. Like, we could do anything. And so I was like, hey, that would be a fun thing to get 8 people involved. It would maybe get everyone hyped up. We'll see.
Yeah.
So that was one of my 6 submissions.
That's amazing. Well, if you don't want to spoil what you submitted, just in case it doesn't come up, or in case it does.
I'm happy to, but I'm passing the buck. Like, let's make it a round table.
I submitted Tingle's Balloon Fight, which is kind of
cool.
That's part of a Zelda thing.
It's are Tingle games Zelda games? Is he canon? Are they canon to the games list? Because if they aren't, this is a legitimate submission.
So, in other words, what I'm hearing, this is a win-win for you, because if it's not a legitimate Zelda game, then it's a shoo-in for Parallel Worlds. If it is a legit Zelda game, then MC has no excuse for keeping it out of Zelda.
Exactly. And it's a 4-player game.
We've definitely never played it at a Zeldathon.
We have never played it at Zeldathon. It is a 4-player game. I found other possible, little incentive-y things, kind of in my vein of within my capabilities. It is not something that we have to play for a long period of time. Directors. Please. Well, it's 45 minutes of us just popping balloons and then just do something different. It would be really fun. And then I could play with the Bad Games Club. If anyone has watched the
Rude
video. Look, that's what Tylenos branded us. He put it into the video. So, those of us that really have a passion for Tingle, my main man, could come together on the couch and just celebrate our adoration of this incredibly awkward fellow. So that's one of my submissions. What about you, Shadow?
What about you?
Oh, who, little old me? Well, so
I've met you. You are not little old you. You are
Very
tall old you.
Yeah, kind of. So fun fact, I'm actually not going to be at Parallel Worlds. I am going to be on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean, having some like Mai Tais and whatnot, and having myself just an enjoyable time eating bonbons.
Sounds pretty good.
But
Excellent.
that doesn't mean that I wouldn't submit a game anyway.
It hasn't stopped him.
So I've submitted for the committee, the Oscar committee's acknowledgement and consideration, a game about a person who is an insurance adjuster working in the 1800s.
The game rocks.
And it's the best insurance adjustment game you've ever played in the history of ever. It's game of the year 2018.
If it gets selected, are you going to be on couch, Doug?
I have played the game in one sitting because it's that good and addictive. So I fear that I would be unable to contribute more than squeals of anguish.
Unable to not contribute the spoilers face?
Yeah.
The big thing with it is that it's a big mystery game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be challenging the people who are playing. That is hopefully to say people who have never seen the game before, or at least have kept themselves blind from the main story. I will challenge them to try and solve all the mysteries. And each mystery they solve, from my remote location somewhere in the Mediterranean, will donate $10 for every mystery solved within the time limit.
I didn't realize there was
Mystery,
pressure
love it.
involved.
You're like a James Bond villain.
There you go.
From my remote lair.
And if you do not solve any of the mysteries, then I shall fire a laser directly upon Zeldathon and finish it off once and for all.
You'll destroy Mars in the process.
Oh, no.
We need that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's mine. Not gonna be there.
But still submitting a game from remote.
Yeah.
What about you, Gannon?
So I have submitted, last time I counted, 8 different games.
Pretty good.
I have submitted some. So this is also going to depend on how pedantic the deciders are. I've submitted some Zelda Metroid crossover randomizers.
Ooh.
I have, of course, submitted Metroid Zero Mission.
Naturally.
I think it would be really fun if we could get Zork Grand Inquisitor
Oh my
to be
gosh,
played at
that'd
Parallel
be
Worlds.
So fun.
Imagine Myst with a sense of humor, and that's kind of Zork.
One samurai.
Grand Inquisitor. Of course you do. I joked about doing Doom, but I don't think Doom would actually be very entertaining to watch because it would just be me cranking the music up and headbanging while slaughtering demons, which is really fun for me. But the submission that I am really crossing my fingers for and banking on getting in, and I've actually practiced the heck out of, is Hollow Knight, which is one of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played, and I just keep liking it more and more the more I play and practice it. So I'm practicing. I'm trying to get good enough to get the best ending available to me within a reasonable time frame, which involves a lot of very difficult bosses, which I think is going to make for a really entertaining run. Mr. Wilson's playing it right now, so you got to finish it by the time Parallel
It's so
Worlds.
good. It's worth it.
I'm crossing my fingers, and I'm sending bribes to the directors. I mean,
Sending bribes and up-to-date time estimates. One of the games I submitted, I'm not going to practice unless it gets selected, because I found a video of it and it takes an hour, and so I said I could probably finish this in 75 minutes. So
you say that, but
I'm
2 hours in and you're.
If it gets on the, all I have to do is have good routing.
Do you care to share, or do you want to keep it a secret?
It's a game from my childhood on PC called Mixed Up Mother Goose. It is.
Boy.
It is so old and so bad. It would be in like the stupid games block if this were a GDQ. And I said it kind of as a joke. I was like, oh my gosh, this game. I just remembered another game that I've played ever. And Stina Merritt popped off. He's like, that's my childhood. I would be on the couch with you. I would love to be on the couch with you. And I'm like, I guess I'm gonna learn this game. Let's go. But it is. It's a educational preschoolers game, and I think that it is my speed.
Right on.
I've met you. I've talked with you. I've known you for a while now. I think you might have the knowledge surpassing a preschooler. I think you could do this.
Oh,
I believe in you. You're welcome.
Well, so the knowledge is there, but also like the game execution, which you've also seen me do, and I do better in crowds. You know that Gannon, you know that you may not know this, but I prefer to play multiplayer games that are cooperative because I don't like to compete, and when I get nervous, I button mash, and I'm not really good at video games, but I love them anyway. So we keep looking over there because there's a cat like thinking about coming in here.
It's always exciting.
We're trying.
Trying to look as enticing as possible.
Shadow, tell us another game that like, it may not be a submission thing, obviously, but tell us about some other games that you've really loved. Maybe games that you've enjoyed streaming because of the other talents that you get to portray.
Yeah.
Can I lead this question any harder?
Sure. I mean, I mean, honestly, I didn't have any other thoughts about submitting games. That was like, Return of the Obra Dinn was my shoe-in because anything other than Zeldathon, I did Papers, Please, and that was like one of my favorite runs that I've ever done at a Zeldathon ever.
Talking about contributions to the Zeldathon community.
Yes,
and
the birthplace of many memes.
Speaking of secret sound contributions, there's that one. Gannon has a secret sound that is from him as well. Doug, you've produced at least 2 secret sounds.
Oh yeah. Plenty over the years, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reason why I picked up Obra Dinn was that Lucas Pope is the designer of both games, and I was like, well, we have to do it now that Hades 2 is a thing.
Really?
Yes.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I watched you play a little bit of that game, and it seems like such a different game from
It
Papers,
really
Please.
is.
Well, just the process of like making Obra Dinn, like he has talked about like how it came about and how like he started with the visuals and wanted to do that, and then he was like, okay, how can I use these visuals in a really cool way? And he came up with the idea of doing it, and ended up having to like tweak it a little bit because he had to kind of trim out the fat because he's a single game developer. He does everything on his own, so he can't do a ton of overarching stuff. So he ended up doing just like a ton of sound design and had to learn a bunch of that stuff too. Like, it's fascinating.
It really
I
is.
had no idea.
And
That's really cool.
Yes.
And if you guys haven't seen it, I do, or like in chat there, I do recommend like just looking up pictures of the game because it is pretty unique in that it's a 1-bit game, and like in terms of color, not in terms of game. That would not be good. You can't do much with 1 bit. Yeah, it's like an old school Macintosh-esque graphics. It's super cool.
Just to be clear, when you say 1 bit, what does that mean?
It means that there are 2 colors the screen can perform: black or
1
not
bit,
black.
0 or 1.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, how do I count to 2?
Right.
We have a cat.
0 to 1. But actually, the other games that I was going to submit, for what it's worth. Oh, cat. There he is.
Angry cat.
My cat.
That was good.
Well, the other thing I was going to try to submit, maybe, and maybe I'll do it in the future, is do like a humongous of like humongous entertainment games, where we try to blaze through as many like putt games as possible, like while still not skipping any of the cutscenes, of course, because the game's all cutscenes. Let's be honest.
Zeldathon. You gotta watch the
Like
cutscenes.
Putt saves the zoo. Putt goes to the parade. Putt travels through time.
They really
all those darling bangers that are out there in the world about Putt.
They're all cutscenes because I've seen a speed run of one of them, and it's like a task speed run, and it's like 1 minute and 15 seconds of just clicking instantaneously all around the screen and then credits.
Oh my goodness.
It's very funny.
Oh, that makes me think of that. What was it? Mario Golf? What's the terrible CDI golf game?
Oh, The Wacky World of Miniature Golf featuring Eugene Levy.
That's so hard.
Boy.
Game. Did you submit any CDI games?
I didn't because I don't want to travel with a CDI.
Don't blame you.
But yeah, I mean, high on the list would be something like Mad Dog McCree, but that's on a ton of other systems. Like, it's on the Wii as well. So
It's on the Wii.
it's on the Wii. It's on the 3DS. It's on.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's on everything.
Which that's got to be the best way to play Mad Dog McCree, right?
Probably on the Wii,
is
yeah.
on
Yeah, that would be
closest to
pretty
the original.
Yeah, Yeah, I have a CDI zapper as well, but the technology isn't great.
No. Speaking of which, actually, fun fact, I finally found the controller for my CDI experience. I will let's see. I'm gonna post this on my Discord server, and then I'll link it in chat, and I'll show you the Majesty and Wonder that was like the first 3 years of my gaming life as I played Hotel Mario and the Berenstein Bears, like living in town or something like that. Oh, you guys keep going. I'll post this.
Excellent. I don't know. My number one choice for games that I submitted is a GameCube game. It's a horror game from my childhood.
Oh.
It's Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. So we'll see if that gets in.
Oh, Gannon, you have to play that game.
It's a ton of fun.
It's sitting in a box behind me.
Hey, Doug, your second
it's
copy of that
on
game
the
is
list.
it's on Talon 4 again.
I know where it is. Oh, I've poked fun at him before, but if it goes the way of Logan's Run, it may not ever see any use.
Look, I got a list.
I'm
The
mad at
list
both
is
of you
long.
because of that.
The
Come
list is
on.
very long.
I showed it to Clinkett for her 30th birthday.
I actually am. I am playing through one of my backlog games. Finally, I'm finally getting to Shadow of the Tomb Raider,
Excellent.
which is the latest, the latest at least in the Tomb Raider reboot series. Oh God, is that the actual controller?
Yeah, I have one of those
That's
too.
rough.
I've never used it.
That's a rough controller.
Yeah, so it's a wireless controller, by the way, which is incredible. It's a wireless controller that is IR based, just like a remote control, like you would normally do. Like if you've ever played you know how for a while DVDs had like games built into them, and like you could play those games, but like the controls were really awful. Yeah,
Yes.
that was the CDI for me.
Yeah, that's
for
about as
years.
sophisticated as the CDI is.
Yeah.
Second try.
We've got the cat.
And that little analog stick there, which, by the way, is not where your thumb normally lands on a remoat control.
Not
when it
at
comes to,
all.
like, changing
Unless you have like giant malformed hands.
Yeah, it's flimsy as heck. I'll throw more and more picture in here of my giant thumb attempting to control it. As a kid, it felt a lot better because it was I had smaller thumbs at the time. But like, man, it's not a.
So Shadow, that was the first console you owned, and the first console you played games on was the CDI.
That was the first. That was the first home console I had. I think I had a Game Boy before that, so I was playing games on the old Game Boy, like Super Mario Land. But yeah, no, that was the first time I played any video games in color. That was a heck of an experience there.
Where did
And
you start
Mojo
off,
and
Gannon?
Doug. Yeah, well, I was gonna get around to that. I was just gonna say, Mojo and Doug, you guys mentioned earlier you started on NES. My first video game device was a Game Boy. I guess that's not a home console. And the first game I remember playing is Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. Very good game. It's a Zelda game, so we're not going to talk about it anymore because parallel worlds. And then the first home console we got, my brother and I got a Nintendo 64 for Christmas. And I remember we got two games. We got Star Wars Shadows of the Empire and GoldenEye 007. And we decided somewhat arbitrarily, we definitely shared and split the N64, but we decided for some reason that GoldenEye was his game and Star Wars was my game, despite the fact that we both played each other's game on the shared console. And
When you moved out, he could have taken GoldenEye with him because he had all rights to it.
yeah, and I could have kept Star Wars, and then we'd still have to figure out, well, what do we do with the N64? So yeah, we played the heck out of the N64, and then moved to the GameCube. I think most of my childhood gaming memories were made on the GameCube.
I don't really remember the 64 so much. Like, what hole was I in? Was I in middle school when we got that?
It was around 2000.
Oh, okay. So I was away at college.
So that's why you don't remember.
That's why I don't remember, because I was at school.
Yes, but he did. I think you bought me Majora's Mask.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I probably was like, this is a game. Let me get this for you.
I have to do some rummaging real quick.
Bye.
Rummage break.
I have to find a controller.
Okay.
Rummage onward.
Watch all the booties in chat now.
Okay.
Oh, you back.
Everyone makes fun of this controller.
Yes.
Everyone makes fun of this controller because
Show us how to hold it.
You don't have 3 hands. How can you hold? You don't have 3 hands. Here's how you do it. You ignore that this entire part of the controller exists, and you just hold this, and it works great. This is a great controller.
Okay, but
This
here's my question
Welcome to
for you.
his TED Talk.
Here's my big question for you then. If you just are supposed to ignore that section of the controller, why is it there?
Why is it there?
Sorry,
Because-
podcast people who can't see.
Very rarely, and by which I mean, in my library, like our family's library, probably 20 N64 games, there was one game where you did this,
Which one?
and that was WCW versus NCW wrestling. You use the D-pad,
Of course.
and I don't think it used the Z button because the Z button is very difficult to use. or to
In
reach
that
there.
configuration.
Deadly Arts
But like
also used
when
it.
you do this or when you do this, great controller. Great controller.
Isn't that the one that people would like wear down the skin on their hand by like controlling the?
That was me.
analog
Hello.
Just
palm?
like
Yeah, Mario
because
Party. I
they
think.
played Mario Party and they were
Yeah.
like, oh, I gotta spin the thing. Easy solution. Don't play Mario Party.
The original. Don't play the original Mario Party. 2 and
That was
3 are
my
fine,
strategy.
but don't play the 1.
I like
But
to
yeah.
keep my friends. I don't like to play Mario Party.
Fun fact, by the way, I got an N64 pretty young, but I would hold the controller just like you showed, Gannon. With my right hand on the right side, with getting all the buttons in there, right?
Yep.
But my left hand would hold onto the analog stick like you were trying to pick up a grape, like with just like the thumb and the pointer finger, like controlling it independently, and that's how it
Like,
turned around and everything.
Like a speedrun, I gotta make delicate movements.
Yes.
Hold on, let me get to the the super slide position.
My
Hold
right
on.
hand got very tired over time because I'd have to hold so much weight against my left hand, trying to like do these delicate movements back in order to make it work.
You said an incredible like keyword right there that I want to take off and run with.
Segway time.
Speed running.
Speed running.
3 of the 4 people on your screen and in this call, for those of you who are watching with just your ears later, sorry, what? Have played games in a speedrun capacity, have learned tricks, and tried to finish games as fast as possible. Or am I lying, Shadow? I feel like I've heard that you've done this as well.
I have attempted to be good at Majora's Mask just enough to not embarrass myself, but I have not actually speedrun.
Well, you guys did Triforce Heroes for a while.
That's okay. You know what? That's fair. We, for a little bit, for about a year or so,
little bit.
myself, Lindsay, Falchion, had the world record for a complete run of Triforce Heroes. So there was that. We did
Uncontested.
actually have the Triforce Heroes speed run
Uncontested
locked
until
down.
Valor joined the team instead.
Yeah.
And then you guys beat it faster.
We did beat it faster, and then everybody else beat it way as soon as like the instant that anybody even remotely tried is when they.
Well,
I got you,
Zeldathon
Hop.
Percent is not really like a fast. Hi, Kurt. Sorry, a really fast version. Kurt, this is Poe. Kurt.
All right,
she's so
Shadow.
dead inside.
Shadow.
Wait,
you're-
I got. No, I didn't get got twice. I was like, goodness me. I got. Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
turn.
They
We
can
hear
see
you.
you.
No, sorry. What did you say?
Your life in
Oh, I was
speedrun.
gonna say,
No,
Shadow. Go get your
It's time for you to
substitute
get a cat, Shadow, because
I
yours is
don't
the
have a
only screen
cat,
without a
and
cat.
my
cat. You have a
substitute
substitute
cat.
cat.
He would not hold together long enough to make an appearance on this show.
Dad said no, Gannon.
Sorry.
So you held a world record in Triforce Heroes. That is technically correct, which is the
Yes.
best kind of correct. Doug, what is your speedrunning history?
varied. I'm also on the leaderboard for Triforce Heroes a couple of times from
Yeah.
various practice runs of it I did with people.
You're in fourth place right now.
Yeah, we have been usurped by actual speedrunners.
Right, that's the problem. Like people stepped in, they're like, "Oh yeah, wow, people, this is actually really easy to destroy."
Yeah, well, I mean, even when Basunify picked up the game and completely destroyed it this last marathon, solo mode, like he was talking about like going through all these videos and like practicing all these tricks and like all of a sudden he got very involved and very good at the game, and we never did that, frankly. Like we knew the levels fairly well. We had a bunch of the costumes unlocked and we would, play it fairly quickly, but not like, to the tune of like having anything memorized or whatnot, or planning our loadouts or anything like that. So
Or like remembering which level to wear the
exactly.
outfit in.
Yeah, like, oh, this one has a boomerang, right? Or whatever. Like, we didn't have it codified down to that ever. So, I'm on there. Zelda's Adventure was my first foray into the scene of speedrunning, and that record has gone uncontested for over 3 years, even though I've beaten it off stream and didn't record it like an idiot. We just de-rust.
Sub 1 hour. Sub 1
That
hour.
ain't happening with current strats. What else? I think that's about it. I don't know. I don't remember. What about you, Gannon?
So my only claim to fame in the speedrunning category is I figured that the Metroid franchise was a really famous franchise for speedrunning in particular. And I love Metroid, so I decided, well, I need to pick a game and learn to speedrun it. So I picked up Metroid Zero Mission, and I figured out that the any percent on normal difficulty run is pretty achievable. It took some practice in some parts and basically just kind of memorizing a game, but it's only about an hour long if you're not very good, and half an hour if you are good. So I did a couple runs, enough to get one recorded and submit it. And right now I am the proud holder of 98th place out of 231
Let's go.
for Metroid Zero Mission, any percent.
So it's just a testament to how active it is. I think last time I checked, you were 93rd place. So,
Oh wow!
not to drag you or anything, but it's a very active game, much more active than Zelda's Adventure or Tingle.
Yeah,
2.
I mean there are people still running it pretty much daily. I watch one of the guys who's tied for third place right now, JRP, is like one of my favorite streamers. He does more Super Metroid now, but did a lot of Zero Mission for a while. And yeah, like it's a super fun game. I would suggest it not only because I love Metroid and I think everyone needs to love Metroid, but because like as far as speed games go, it's fun, it's tight, it's pretty quick, and like no one's gonna laugh at you if you aren't getting a 30-minute time. Like there's a lot of room on this leaderboard.
You can sink a lot of practice runs into an evening. It's not like a 3-hour game where you're like, well, crud. I blew it 2.5 hours in. I'm not even going to start now because I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, like there are some of the longer, like Ocarina of Time categories where if you're resetting anywhere more than half an hour into the run, it's like, well, I may as well just stop streaming for the day because I don't have the 9 hours it takes to do this run anymore. I had exactly 9 hours, and now it's going to take 9.5 hours. So nope, we're done.
Well, that one's a really approachable entry as well. Like Super Metroid has some pretty dated movement mechanics that are a little clunky to get started with. So that one has a lot of more modern adjustments that make it easy to play.
So Shinran Cole is bringing up maybe my favorite speedrunning related
Baten Kaitos.
Baten Kaitos is a GameCube era JRPG, which is actually a really cool game in its own right. The whole shtick behind that game is that everything is card. Mm-hmm. So when you go into combat, it's fully a JRPG. You've got your 3 dudes on your side against however many dudes on that side, but each of your characters has a deck of cards, and the cards represent things like a sword or a piece of armor or a piece of food to heal you. And so based on the cards you play, you'll either be dealing damage, protecting yourself from oncoming damage, or healing yourself or doing whatever. There is a 100% category of speedrun, which naturally involves getting every single card, except the cards age and change in real time. So there's one particular card, green banana, which after enough time ripen to become bananas. But then after even more time, spoil and become rotten bananas. The time is 2 weeks of real time. So 2 weeks after you pick up the green bananas, you will have rotten bananas, which means at a minimum, this game takes 2 weeks to complete.
Ooh.
In 100%.
So really it comes down to
Just
picking
ew.
up the green banana as fast as possible, and then you have 2 weeks to slack off and beat the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think there's only one run that's ever been done of it, and the guy, like, it's still a very technical run at the very beginning and very end of the game, because you have to get to the green bananas as quickly as possible, and you have to do smart menuing. But after he gets it, he literally he leaves his stream on for 2 weeks, and he will come back, and between the hours of like 7 and 9, he will do a section of the game.
Yeah.
At kind of a relaxed pace, and then he puts it down for another 20 hours, and then, et cetera, et cetera. It's like I need to watch a fast forwarded video of it, because it seems fascinating and also just hilarious.
Very, very true.
Jamie points out there was a speedrun marathon where the goal was to beat that game, and then they did other games in the meantime while they were waiting.
That's
awesome.
incredible. I love that. Sounds like a speed gamers thing if they could muster enough manpower to have a 2-week marathon. Gracious.
True.
2 weeks is a long time.
Truly. Reminder that you can ask questions over there if you want.
Yeah.
We do have that there. We can at some point we'll get to Q&A once we have
It's
sort of
that way.
Yeah.
enough of those.
Zeldathon.net/ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Any of your burning questions that you've wanted to ask that we haven't gotten to in chat, just make sure to go there, fill it out. Your sandwich-related questions, your cube theory of food questions, your, I don't know.
we will make no statement about chicken and or scissors. Yeah. We reserve the right to modify or delete your questions at our whim.
Thank you, Jamie, for your contribution.
Bless you. How did you know it was him? Just
Come on.
you can see the words better than me.
Oh, well, because it says, why do they call it oven? When you oven the cold food, of out hot, eat the food.
Yeah.
That's how I know it's Jamie.
Yes, you could, Mr. Wilson. I'll answer it. Sorry, Doug.
It's fine.
It's fine. I also have a special question I'm supposed to ask when we get to that, but it's not on that tab. It's on a different spot.
Are we ready? Are we ready to?
Yeah. Do we
ask
want to
them
go?
questions?
Do we want to start to tackle questions?
Yeah, we have talked about it for 3 minutes now. We might as well.
Exactly.
Is there anything else that we wanted to talk about before we got to viewer questions?
Parallel World starting June 4th. People should definitely check it out. Oh, there's one other thing that happened too. If people go on to the Zeldathon Discord server, MC Gamer's been posting some progress photos about money-making game. The Zeldathon
game.
documentary that is out, I should say. The physical copies are pretty much done. They're doing another print-off batch. And yeah, they're on their way and they're looking really good. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to go check it out, go to zeldathon.net and go pick yourself up a copy.
Is it zeldathon.net/doc?
I believe so, yeah.
Zeldathon.net.
Something like that. One of those things probably works.
Either one works.
Nice.
In
And
any
it will
case,
take
yeah,
you-
you should definitely check it out because it is a fantastic explanation of the history of Zeldathon, kind of an explanation of why it's so special, both to us as community members and also as as the good that it has done over the years. Has been.
I'm really excited for the bonus features because I've seen the feature-length documentary and it's fabulous. They showed it as actually a part of the segment of the most recent Zeldathon, which was Zeldathon Forces last Christmas time. And we got to sit and watch it in real time, and it was so fun. We all got fancy for a red carpet premiere, and it was beautiful to see just the story come together. And then I'm sure each of us in our seats at one point were like, I remember something crazy getting talked about at some point. I wonder if it'll make it into the bonus features, the stuff that didn't fit with the pacing and the story arc. I'm excited to see what still ends up hitting there. I had a prop when I got interviewed. I was like, I can't actually consume this because it's contraband, but I did bring a frozen hot chocolate from Sheetz to have just in case we wanted it. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Just in case you
Would
want
you
to
like a cookie? Here, sweet pea.
You know, there are no Sheets within 100 miles of me.
Yeah.
So this is just extra cruel.
Another order of magnitude. Yes. All right.
That's a terrible realization.
Questions.
Look, my name. Look, Doug's on here.
What?
Doug is on the cover. Well, not on the cover, but on the disc image for Money Making Game.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't notice. I just saw like the ream of. What?
I'm on a DVD cover.
That's amazing.
Very cool.
All right.
Excuse me, DVD.
No, even
Come
better.
on.
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
This is
Modern era.
2020.
Oh, that's true. It is a Blu-ray.
I'm so.
It is.
Dark Cobra asks, have you ever considered that the mini map of Lake Hyrule in Ocarina of Time looks
Lake
like...
Hylia, first of all.
Go on.
I'm sorry, I was reading. Lake Hylia in Ocarina of Time looks like the Tin Man. Please discuss at length your Zelda Oz crossover theories. This is not as good as the question as I'm also going to ask from Dark Cobra.
All right, Tingle 2
Yes.
is based on the Legend of Oz, obviously. But you have a tin lady, you have a lion, you have a scarecrow, you have good witches, you have Tingle as Dorothy, essentially. So it's all in there.
Okay, hold on. I need everyone to look at this. Look at that gigantic link.
Oh.
Look at that awful link.
That's a
Oh,
mess.
it's gonna...
Nope.
And then click on Lake Hylia fishing mat, which is this link. And
You can play along
just
at home.
use your imagination. Use your imagination a little bit. The red arrow that it's pointing to, that's an eye. And then the outline is a face. And the little stem going up is like, I don't know, a funnel or something that the Tin Man wears as his hat because this map looks like a
The
Tin Man.
green part. I was like, I see nothing.
Oh, that's okay. I can see it.
I'm guessing this came up at a time that
Alternatively-
you two were playing this game together.
Alternatively, it's a lake.
Hey. Don't be too literal. Yeah, this came up when my brother and I were doing an Ocarina of Time multi-world randomizer. I got here and I mentioned it because I was streaming, and he mercilessly disagreed with me, and I'm always looking to vindicate myself.
That's what
It looks
siblings
like
are
a
for,
Tin Man
right?
to me. Yes, for mercilessly taunting.
The tear down and the build up. Porque no los dos.
Yeah, Dark Cobra, when are we going to get to that build-up?
Oof.
Well, I'm sorry. You can't pick your siblings. I lucked out. Also, I'm supposed to ask you this. Excuse me, Mr. Cannon 11, sir. Have you ever had a dream that you want to do so much you could do anything?
You know, I didn't think it would be like it is, but it do.
I can read. You're welcome. MoJo, which was worse for you in terms of your Deal or No Deal history, having to be the contestant or having to co-host with Zach Teep? Only one of those times involved me crying on stream. So I'm going to go probably with that one. But there's a little bit of story. That game
An air
was...
of mystery around which one that was.
Okay, so which Cures was it? Which one did I do when I was dressed in my Skyward Sword Zelda outfit? And it was 5 hours late, and I was so tired. And then I just couldn't balance the Zach energy anymore. And at the end, when I finally won, and like MC Gamer is sitting off stage next to the person doing math, like, I'm so mad at you right now. You're losing so much money for charity. Like, he didn't. I received that message. That's not the message he sent, but he was like, you are stressing me out right now. And I'm like, I can't do anything about this. I'm on camera. Like, I can't do anything to fix this except finish this sketch. And at the end, I literally collapsed in the middle of the stage. I was down like on my knees, arms in the air. Thank you, Jesus, hi Kurt, for like relieving me from the duty of completing, like the sketch was over and I could go to sleep. So that one was harder. Like other times it's just like, oh, I'm opening cases. There's no pressure here. See also, if anybody hasn't watched it yet, the Deal or No Deal from Forces is up, and that game is a nail biter.
Oh man.
I will not spoil it, but I am one of the voices off camera screaming incoherently for the last third of the event.
Kurt, come here.
Hi, Kurt. Donovan asks, what's your favorite Zelda game? Also, has anyone thought that Shadow's voice sounds like he has the voice of a cool narrator for an action film?
Listen up, action films. Have you heard that?
Hey, I know an actual professional voice actor. He's got a width and breadth of talent. He's incredibly motivated. He's still willing to learn. He's energetic and enthusiastic and probably available.
Bye, Kurt.
Bye, Kurt. His name is not Kurt. He's not a cat. It is, in fact, Shadow without the W_Temple, who is an incredibly talented voice actor, and he shares his talents for free during some of his streams whenever he voice acts entire games.
Like yet tonight. Also, hire me,
Hire him.
please.
But yeah, what's everyone's favorite Zelda game?
Well, Shadow, since you're talking, why don't you start?
That is Majora's Mask for me. I've always really enjoyed how novel the concept is of like a Groundhog Day 3-day cycle thing. As a kid, it fascinated and terrified me to no end. Just thinking about like, if I don't save these people, they're all gonna die in 3 days. But yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Ganon?
Majora's Mask is very good. My favorite waffled for a while. There's a lot of Zelda games I like. But then The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, and I sank 150 plus hours into 100%ing it because I wasn't ready to say goodbye to that world. So I think Breath of the Wild is my favorite now. It's my favorite Zelda game that I don't really ever want to replay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. My favorite is, for the CDI, I like Zelda Wand of Gamelon. It's a female protagonist. The game it's treacherously difficult, so I can't play. I played, I think, for an hour and a half one stream, and then finally I was rescued from it, and I played the same 2 screens the entire time that I was in control of the controller. But you play as Zelda. She is a BA, independent woman. She takes care of it. She is going to go rescue Link and her dad. Like, it's got campy graphics, and it's a side-scrolly platformy type game, and I just really love the premise of having a female protagonist that means something and makes a big difference. She doesn't get captured, she doesn't get crystallized into ember. She's out there doing the work. This is another reason why I love the Metroid franchise, because that's a woman, and that matters to me as a feminist, as also an actual bread and butter woman. Like, it matters to me. Representation matters, unironically, but also just it's fun, and like the music is really campy and bright, and the graphics are campy and bright, and it's got a lot of hilarious sound bites. And it's short. It's like a bite-sized game. It's no Twilight Princess. Like, I feel like I've watched the same parts of that game over and over again, but I can only tell you that Colin gets tied to somebody's, like, there's a warthog, and he's got a big staff, and he's got a kid tied to it, and he's on a bridge, and I've seen that part 100 times, and that's it. And the Master Sword puzzle. So, what about you?
The Master.
Well, I mean, even my profile on Zeldathon.net/team, go visit it, and also ask us questions. But that one says Zelda's Adventure because, I mean, it's, like I said, it was my first speedrunning game, but it's also what introduced me to this community in a really more substantial way than just kind of hanging out in chat and donating, once every 6 months or whatever. And that's been very meaningful, obviously. I'm on a DVD now, which is pretty cool. So I do like that, but whatever. But just judging a game on its own merits, I think I'll have to jump into the Majora's Mask squad. Like, that game rules. Yeah.
That game's really Eterna is a very creepy place.
Well, yeah, I just really...
It's really neat, though.
I like any game that's just sort
Eternal
of different
darkness.
from other ones. Especially like in a game series. Like Metroid 2 is my favorite Metroid because it's
Mario 2
way
is your
different from the
favorite.
other ones. No, probably not. But just, yeah, it's a departure from like the typical format, which is really interesting. I guess Breath of the Wild is the same way. So, who knows? Please list a Zeldathon attendee who reminds you of a specific Animal Crossing villager. That comes from Monica, thank you.
Other Monica.
Yes.
The Monica who goes by Monica and doesn't answer to Monica, especially if I'm also in the room.
Fair enough.
So you guys cut out a little bit. Was it name a Zeldathon attendee and which villager they remind you of?
Close enough.
Yes.
Okay. I've never played an Animal Crossing game, but I know that Tom Nook is the one you owe all the money to. And I guess MC reminds me of Tom Nook because I have to pay him my attendee fee.
That is a good answer for someone with minimal involvement. KK Slider and Thunderscott.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Or Ganon 11. Anybody playing classical guitar, really, my heart. And also, my favorite villager is Kiki, the black cat. And for some reason, because she's kind of demure and quiet and a little bit shy, I'm getting Kelly Selena vibes.
Sure.
So I hope that that's flattering. I hope that's a compliment to you. It's meant to be, darling.
There's a cat named Rosie. And when I was playing Pocket Camp, the very first thing, like the very first interaction I had with Rosie is we did some art together. So I tweeted that at our friend Rosie, and I feel like that's an apt comparison.
There's a really cool elephant that would probably make me think of Basunify, just because he's so like cool and laid back.
Could be.
I don't remember his name.
What about you, Shadow?
I've been trying to think, but I know a grand total of maybe 3 characters. So I'm just going to say Catherine and Ketchup. Well,
There you
It's
go.
a great answer.
there you go. Easy enough.
That'll please her.
Yeah.
So, and you have Catherine's favorite villager, I believe, is Ketchup. I've made her an actual like Ketchup knitted little toy. And you have a favorite, and I said my favorite is Kiki.
Peanut is my favorite.
Peanut.
She's
Peanut's
a
this
peppy
squirrel.
pink squirrel. She's the best.
She's
I do
so
like
cute.
peanuts.
You're more a mustard kind of guy. Thanks, Jamie. Donovan suggested, do you think that anybody submitted Donkey Kong Country 2?
Maybe. It's a popular
I wouldn't
franchise.
be surprised. Yeah. Isn't that where
I could see it come
Ambience
up.
comes from? Is that where that song is?
One of them. One of the Donkey Kong countries.
Kongs. That song is a banger.
Which one?
Aquatic Ambience.
Yeah,
It's a Donkey Kong game.
It might be the first one.
it's definitely a Donkey Kong game. It's definitely a Donkey Kong Country game. I don't remember if it's 2 or 3.
Oh, maybe it's not the first one if it's between 2 and 3.
Well, I don't know.
We have votes for 3 of those.
It's not like I've played Donkey Kong games. Cat, why are you trying to eat the Hylian crust?
Because it's there, Dad.
Yeah.
MJ Evans asks, ignoring your existing family members, in an ideal world, what would you have for a pet? I would still have a cat, but I would have a cat that knew how to go potty in the human toilet. I would love it. I would love if my cats knew that, but they're very old and will not learn any new tricks. They're 13.
Bento 5 years from now.
Oh.
When he's just taking a little bit of the edge off of
your
that boy.
current family member.
So he would want a dog that's no longer a puppy.
Yeah.
That they've had a lot of time to train and bond and be to go.
Thank you, Jamie.
I think Bento's a great dog. If he wasn't so crazy.
I'm an absolute cat person. I understand dog people because of how much of a cat person that I am. But I would prefer a cat, especially because I travel for a living, so cats are a little easier to abandon for days at a time. Like, good luck, here's some food, go poop over there, I'll see you later. I missed you too. Yeah, versus an animal that, like, really, as a parent, like, dictates your life, and you're like, I have to go home because I have to take care of my dog. You know, it's not like, oh, I have to let Gus out, but it's very much like, oh, my life revolves around this dependent human. That's enough. That's enough dependency for me. I don't want a dependent dog as well. Oh, Natsu has got snuggly dogs. All right. Do you have an ideal pet?
I don't know. I like my cats. I'm sorry. I can't imagine having more of them at this time.
Yeah.
I mean, we can plug.
Yeah. Katona Dragon asked, what inspired Zeldathon? Well, if you've got, 75 minutes? Is it?
Yeah, roughly.
If you have about 75 minutes, you can go and watch this incredible documentary called Money Making Game, which is the story of Zeldathon. Zeldathon has existed for 10 years now. We put on 25 major events, or 25 numbered events.
Yes.
And built this community up from a couple of high schoolers that were just doing stuff together to an international philanthropy organization that has raised $2 million over the past 10 years. And we have no plans to not continue in this vein of enjoying our time together and playing video games for charity, whether there's other games or not. So.
Hashtag parallel world.
Heck yeah.
June 4th on this very channel, twitch.tv/SuperMCGamer or Zeldathon.net. Gannon, you are a popular fellow tonight. Mr. Wilson wants to know your opinion on Code Get. No, I'm just kidding. What do you think of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Kappa?
Oh, it's so good. So I'm an anime fan. I've been in an anime group hosted by Doug and Doug's community for a while now. How long has Anime Night been happening?
Years.
3 years, maybe?
Yeah, a long time. And it has been like I've been introduced to a lot of shows that I didn't know about before and really enjoyed, like Cowboy Bebop, which I have a poster of back there. It's actually right above my head. That's Spike saying "See you later, Space Cowboy."
Oh, neat. This is just Gus sleeping.
But one of my favorite things that I got to do was introduce Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood to this anime group because I think it's an incredible story that has a surprising amount of depth despite being like a young adult show. I think it doesn't shy away from difficult topics. It has a defined story that it wants to tell, so it ends, which, let me tell you, that's a blessing.
That matters. I've never seen it. I've seen the pilot.
What else is good about it? It's just got a ton of characters. It has good representation. Each of its characters, even the side characters, have really compelling writing and development. And it just has a satisfying conclusion. It is one of only two things. So I've been keeping a list of all the anime I watch, movies and TV shows, and giving them ratings between 1 and 10, with 10 being the best. It is one of only two items on that list that rates a full 10 out of 10.
That's really cool.
What's the other one?
The other one is an anime movie that I saw within the past year, I think, called Koe no Katachi, or A Silent Voice, or also translated The Shape of Void. That was a movie that I saw in theaters with a group of coworkers and friends from my community, and I walked out of the theater and was just ugly crying, like I had been ugly crying the entire movie. And my friend said, "Hey, Gannon, you okay?" I was like, 10 out of 10. It was very good. That's a sad movie. It's a very, very good movie, but it is a sad movie.
I watched with Gannon on a night that you couldn't come to Anime Night.
I know.
And
everyone's seen it but me.
They were so... Oh my gosh, I will watch it again with you, but I will cry the whole time. It's beautiful. It's haunting. The story is very, very strong. And Gannon thought I didn't like it because I was very vocal in our little chat box just about like how disappointed I was in some of the choices of some of the young high school characters. I was like, I would turn you over my knee if that were legal and also you existed. I was very frustrated with like the story. I made enemies with characters in that story, and he was like, I'm sorry you didn't like it, and I'm like, on the contrary, sir, I absolutely loved it. I will watch it again with you.
Neat.
First you have to watch Logan's Run. We'll do a double feature.
Shadow, I know you watched Full Metal Alchemist, right?
I have.
Cool. Next question.
Did you follow up with that?
Uh,
Well, what animes do you like
Yeah.
to expand it?
I'll admit I'm not much of an anime connoisseur. Most of the animes that I play or that I watch end up being more things that I play than anything else, like the Danganronpas and the Phoenix Wrights and the whatnots. Kind of the animes that I've seen are just period, like Madoka Magica, which was fun. Fullmetal Alchemist, One Punch Man. I watched all the way through. That was fun. That's about it, though. I really haven't watched a whole lot of anime in my life.
It's alright.
Oh, that's like the anime nights that I host have made me a little bit more knowledgeable. I really haven't seen all that much and was introduced to most of the ones that I know and love now because of it. So that's valuable.
Yes. Fully Cooley is nice and short.
True.
And weird. Also, do you want to talk about the Picard show? Has anybody seen that? Merx Bob asks again, and specifically.
I have not seen Picard yet, so we're getting into a kind of fandom that has been barely explored in the Zeldathon community, which is my love for Star Trek.
Have you talked to Grant?
You and Jackson have had a good hang about Deep Space Nine, and that's really fun to watch.
We do that a lot. I am... The short version of this story is that I'm upset with CBS for spinning up yet another streaming service for basically only Star Trek. Because, like, what else can you watch on CBS All Access? You can watch Star Trek Discovery. Now you can watch Star Trek Picard. And, like, Young Sheldon? Who cares? So I am going to wait for Picard to either be completely out or be almost out. I will pay them for 1 month of access. I will binge the entire show, and then I will cancel. Because they're not worth more than $10 to me.
That's nice.
And hopefully I can get a free month out of it, and then I don't have to pay them anything. But that's probably not going to happen.
Kat asks, hey Shadow, would you like to do the Pierce voice?
No.
Oh.
I've done that joke maybe like 40 times over the course of a lot of time. I for those unaware, I did play a character in a decently popular Minecraft role play. And I get a lot of questions about it here and there. And my character's name is Pierce, and he talks like this the entire time. So, and
it's called.
That's basically the Shadow voice.
And his catchphrases are yes and no.
Amazing.
Reminds
So
me
there
of
you go.
Mori-san from Uran.
Hey Doug, if
What-
you get to play Eternal Darkness at Parallel Worlds, which timeline would you want to do? That's from Taito.
Oh, I mean, we can leave that up to the donors, honestly. Like, there's 3 choices. There's a red one, there's a green one, there's a blue one. So that lines up pretty well with wisdom, power, and courage.
It's true, but one of them makes you less insane because it doesn't have any heads.
No, that makes you more insane, actually.
Does it?
Because you can't actually cut off their heads.
Oh, right.
Because a lot of them are headless, or when you do cut off their heads, they still have the ghost heads.
I tried to really set you up, and I whiffed. Dang.
Yeah,
I like that game. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I did 2 practice runs so far, and I did first Zeltoth and then Chaturga, so I've done green and red so far in practice.
Nice. Cat on a Dragon. That sounds like a good amount. If you're stuck in a Zelda game, which one would you want to be stuck in? Breath of the Wild, because there's food.
Absolutely not Majora's Mask.
Correct.
Even though it's my favorite game, it's the game I least want to be.
Exactly, Taito. We have to incentivize bringing in donations, and that's an easy way to do it.
Doug, go ahead.
This was my thinking phase, obviously.
I'm sorry. I'm watching on a delay because I'm watching the stream, so
Oh,
I didn't
sorry.
see you thinking yet. I would probably choose Breath of the Wild as well, because despite being a very techie person in my professional life and in my non-professional life, I love and frankly really miss being a very outdoorsy camping type of person. And Breath of the Wild scratches that itch. So I would love to take a
I'd rather
tent
versus again.
and take some flint and steel and go
Cook outside.
Go cook outside.
Go punch a
Honestly,
tree.
camp food is incredible.
Yes.
Camp food rules.
Camp
Love.
food that you make yourself is incredible.
Absolutely.
Other camp food, not as good.
Yeah, that's really just too good of an answer, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to really justify any of the other ones when there's food and camping, at the very least, in Breath of the Wild.
I can ride a
Yeah.
horse. I haven't ridden horses in years.
I was going to say Twilight Princess because as I'm going to go the opposite direction. Twilight Princess seems to have the most developed of towns and like villages that are not torn asunder by war and like famine and zombies. So I would definitely go with Twilight Princess so I can just live in a normal society. Thank you.
Diversity in the answer. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to pick one of the ones that ends up, being trapped in a book or a dream at the end or whatever, because those disappear, or the time loop in Majora's Mask
Yeah.
because of that.
Don't wake up.
So a lot of them have to do with like time travel and stuff and get a little whack at times, so that's hard to choose those. Like even Ocarina of Time has a bad part of the timeline that you're chilling in for a bit.
Yeah, my favorite part of the timeline.
Yeah, so Breath of the Wild really just, it's a world that doesn't disappear and it's got some really cool stuff in it, so.
And if you hear creepy piano music, you just run.
True.
run.
I do that in real life too.
Just to say general good life advice.
You're being followed by a cellist. Walk the other way. Here's a real head scratcher from Hop Hop. What do you want from Zeldathon?
Oh my gosh.
The Chaos Emeralds.
Not again. I really want to play a Metroid game. It's all about.
Yeah.
There it is.
I mean, in general, like to be completely honest here, Zeldathon is my vacation. Like I spend most of my vacation days going to and from Zeldathon. So what I want out of Zeldathon is to have a good time while working hard for something meaningful. And I have a good time a lot here at home doing community stuff, and I work pretty hard at that stuff, and I work pretty hard at work. But I think it's the something meaningful that is really like the secret sauce in that recipe that makes Zeldathon so incredible. So like that's what I want. I want to have fun while working hard at something meaningful. You get these things. That's exactly what I want out of Zeldathon.
That's what I want out of life, man.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, once again, we let the best answer go first.
Sorry.
Shadow answered.
Oh,
I'll throw in a real answer real quick too, for what it's worth. I would say my big one is like I would really love. I know that this is just kind of a metrics thing, but I would love to hit 500,000 in a marathon. God, wouldn't that be cool? I know the closest we've gotten so far is 370, but like,
376 and change.
and that was a high for us. Like, but I feel like someday we can hit that cool 500,000 in a marathon and just really blow it up. Just see where it goes.
Someday. How about June 4th?
Well, don't do it on that one. I
2020.
won't be there for that one.
that's the real monkey's paw. You get your
I'm
wish,
not
but you're
gonna
not
be
there.
I think I'm getting what I want from Zeldathon. I get to be a part of a community. I get to stretch myself in various, like, I don't usually like to sit and talk to a bunch of people I don't know in a big audience of uncertain dimension. I'm kind of shy, actually an introvert. I get to be challenged in these incredible ways. I have played more video games since becoming a part of Zeldathon than I did my entire rest of my life. I have made some incredible relationships. I have people that I call my found family. And honestly, again, we're going to totally circle back to this. I feel like I've gotten to get to know Doug as an adult so much better because we're a part of this big thing that's so much bigger than ourselves. And I feel like if we didn't have that connection, that we wouldn't have as much to like go on and be like, hey, come over and eat dinner at my house because I'm cooking, and not just like, hey, come over and then let's spend a couple hours.
Yeah, we need to practice 4 swords. Like, let's hang out and do that, and
let's stream together.
And,
you know, like I would never have gotten into streaming if it weren't for Zeldathon, and like I have had some high highs and I've had some low lows, and this family that I get to be a part of has been a part of that. You've all gotten to watch me grow over the past, what is it, like 5 years already, almost. I started attending 4 years ago winter, so it's, you know, I'm at some point will age out of this experience, but I hope it's not anytime soon. I mean, I'm going to be 110 years old, and it's going to be like, I'm too tired for this nonsense.
Live from the nursing home.
I'm not going in the pool. I don't want to do it. It's too far to walk. Yeah, it's a game changer, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Again, watch the documentary to see how much it's changed everybody's lives, and including the people that are performing the events.
Same, yeah. Everything that I already get out of it is what I still want to continue getting out of it. Just, you know, surrounding myself with people that inspire me and encourage me, and you know, I've got acquaintances and friends now all over the country and all over the world that I wouldn't have otherwise. Hundreds of people that I wouldn't have met without this, and you know, I've gotten to improve myself in a lot of extremely meaningful ways. Like, I don't know, I would be a completely different person, so it's really cool. And watch the documentary.
Same.
We talk about it a bunch in there too.
Oh yeah, definitely recommend it, because there are a lot of stories on Zeldathon of people getting their lives changed by it, and they're in the documentary and other places.
Yeah, I've made some incredible friends because of it.
I got a fiance out of it.
Murix Bob asks,
True.
I'm sorry, totally didn't hear it.
Shadow also got a fiance out of it.
Correct. That is another kind of wonderful friendship. It's a special kind of friendship with jewelry and legally binding contracts.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. If you could get anyone to attend a Zeldathon, either as an attendee or a special guest, who would it be and why? Hikafoop. Because it would make it easier and easier to have a family reunion. He is also our brother. He's the 3D artist. Ganon has shown off at least one of his works over the course of this video. He makes the little fidget spinners. He's a cool cat, and I'm sure that if he really wanted to come to Zeldathon, that he would get an invitation, because he is pretty great. He would push me off of the leaderboards for age. I would be the oldest woman on the team, but I would no longer be in the top 3 oldest teammates, because he's our older brother. Yeah, I would want more of my biological family to be involved, even to a greater capacity than he already is.
Yeah, Natsu, she's already done it once. I mean, we've already had special guests like interviewees before. Especially at the last marathon, we interviewed a lot of the Breath of the Wild voice actors, which is really cool. So I think having more people involved with like the creative process of creating Zeldas, I think would be excellent.
That's super cool.
I'm gonna cheat. So I have 2 answers.
Yes.
And both of them are cheating. For my one cheaty answer, I would want to invite a live moose. Live actual, real biological moose
Do you
in the
know how
marathon
big a
room.
moose actually
And
is?
just let the big boy run wild.
We
that
already
would be
did
very
wild.
cool. Yeah, but it wasn't run by a moose.
Okay, destruction has happened. See also Doug's 3-way Zelda's Adventure race that I accidentally sabotaged inadvertently, indirectly, with my offspring
True.
when he unplugged one of the CDI.
So my other answer is cheaty because it involves multiple people. I would like to invite my entire community video game music orchestra to come and just like we have a lot of really, really talented musicians. I'm in a community orchestra, and I would love to have them there just to have like even more musicians, but also get the chance to grow with them because like it's a community orchestra, so we have some professional players. We have a lot of amateur players, myself included, and I would love to just like practice with some of the professional musicians that attend Zeldathon. And see what kind of sounds we could
A
make.
huge chamber orchestra instead of jam train. Oh,
Yeah.
baby. That'd be cool. Shadow?
If I could invite anybody, I would invite Ben.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I tried. I legitimately tried last time. Winter Zeldathon, we'll have another chance, guys. We'll make it happen.
No, this summer, donate $30,000, one donation. I will find out where Shadow lives and kidnap his dog and bring it to Zeldathon.
I will do a crime.
He's
will
an
never
antagonist.
cry.
You might need to believe him. He is literally a villain.
Indeed.
I also know where he lives. I have been to your apartment. I don't know if you were there when I was there.
I just thinking about it. I don't think I was.
I don't think you were. I think it was just me and Marissa.
Jamie, let's go.
You broke into your apartment by
It'll be
yourself.
like a buddy cop
and
movie, but
then we went out to dinner.
It'll be like a buddy cop movie, but for crime.
yeah.
Like the other
Buddy
side of
crime
it.
movie. It'll be like the Boondock Saints, but probably with less cursing.
Yeah. What did I do? But yeah, Bento won't be at the apartment anyway. It'll be.
Look,
at the,
get your
the
facts out of my desire to have your dog at the marathon.
I'm just saying that you just have to change your address in your Google GPS.
All right. Oh my gosh! Donation incentive for scavenger hunt for Bento. You send us clues.
That would
as
be
the
such a
marathon
weird
unfolds.
I
video.
gave you all the clues.
We just leave Zeldathon for the next 3 days. You try to travel to Wisconsin.
We'll do it as a
to
between the marathon
find Ben.
thing. We'll do it over Memorial Weekend. We'll come and kidnap your dog, and you can meet him on Mars. It'll be great.
Is there Airbnb on Mars? You could just bring Bento and live with him.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Make it easier to drop that 7,500 or whatever it's gonna
Well,
take.
he's a puppy in training, right? We can train him to be like a service dog.
Emotional support Bento.
No, an
Yeah.
actual support bento, not a.
Best
No
support
offense
Bento.
to emotional support animals, but like an actually trained working animal is very cool and it's great upper echelon of things and is less likely to attack other dogs in the airport. I had to watch this at Christmas. It's dunk.
Yeah, no, Bento's not those things.
he's not disciplined.
He's fine, but he's not the type who wouldn't like leap at somebody at an airport. He's crazy.
He's a puppy.
He's charming.
He's a dog.
Charming is a word.
He's a thing. We are pushing. We've been at this for pushing 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we relinquish everyone's evening? For
People should go buy money making it.
Yes.
Yeah.
check out the money making game.
Set your alarms for June 4th.
Go to
Heck yeah. And March 20th.
any of these places.
Yeah.
And check out stuff for Zeldathon. We got an Instagram, we got a Snappy Chat, we've got a website, we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got a YouTube channel. YouTube channel has like almost every past marathon that we have footage for uploaded. So if you are interested in watching 168 hours of an event from 3 years ago, you could. Or if you just wanted to watch every time somebody played Four Swords, I've done that actually. You could do that. So that's a nice resource. It also has a bunch of, like, we tweet about videos going up, content from prior stuff. We mentioned a couple of them. There's the puppet heist, and then the Deal or No Deal that we've mentioned. And Tyler also says more videos coming soon. Yes. There's always something happening in these social places. Check it out. We have people working tirelessly behind the scenes throughout the year, just spreading the word about Zeldathon. So if you're one of those people who is here in like March and not just December and June, then feel free to check out other stuff that we have going on. And if you just stumbled on to this or you're listening to the podcast, welcome to the Zeldathon community. Please feel free to check us out. Zeldathon.net is the website, and that will get you links to all of our other social media stuff. I know directions are hard.
Oh, we're mirrored.
Cameras
are
hard. And our next big live event is going to be Zeldathon Parallel Worlds, beginning June 4th, 2020, on the channel twitch.tv/SuperMCGamer.
It's this channel, right?
Exactly.
This channel. Unless you're watching on a hosted channel, in which
Correct.
case, click through to the channel that's being hosted,
Yes.
which is twitch.tv/SuperMCGamer.
It has been an absolute delight having all of you here this evening. Thank you so much, friends. This was great.
Of course.
Hanging out on a virtual couch together. Shadow Temple, thank you for joining us. Where can we find you?
You can find me in approximately 5 minutes over at twitch.tv/shadow_10. We're playing a game, Kentucky Route Zero, which I have not ever played.
Just
and
like
I'm very
this.
excited about.
Yeah, spelled just like that.
Just like that.
We'll actually we'll put on some outro music, and we'll drop a raid from this channel.
Thank you.
What about you, Ganon11?
You can find me on Twitch at Ganon11, again, just like it's spelled down here. That's also my Twitter. But probably if we're taking moments to self-promote, the thing I'm most proud of, that I'm most excited to share, is my own video game-based charity marathon called Metroid Marathon.
Oh.
So go to
Oh,
metroidmarathon.net metroidmarathon.net to get more details about that. We've got an event coming up at the end of April, which was just recently announced, and we're very excited about that.
We're stoked.
But this is the Zeldathon show, so I won't spend too much time talking about it.
That's my stoked face.
Yeah. No, that's your Shadow Temple face. Doug, where can we find you?
This is my Twitter handle. If I cover up this part of it without the TV, that's my Twitch handle. I stream yearly.
Same. Oh.
So yeah, that's basically my entire social media outreach.
Oh, we did get .com.
Yeah, that's just, I hang out sometimes. I have a Discord. You can find it
Yes.
secretly, and if you want to jump in on those anime nights, we have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Pretty light outreach. Maybe when I move to a new apartment, I'll stream more. We'll see.
Maybe when
I'm in flux right now.
yeah. Maybe when you help me with this computer, I can stream more.
Yeah, maybe.
I love you.
Maybe.
Please.
So.
And I am MoJo. If you go to google.com and you search MoJo Fibers, I am the entire first page. That is why that is my business card now. Yeah, I technically have an Etsy if you are interested in talking about commissions. If you are in the chat and we have a live commission right now, feel free to DM me about it. Yes, those. I am not making any link hats for Parallel Worlds.
Good.
If there are link hats for Parallel Worlds, it's because they're leftovers.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
Well, I'm thinking of making scarves. Honestly, if we can figure out what games they are, then I can come
once
up
we
with
figure out the
color
games
palettes.
list, maybe if there's a ton of Mario games, you could make Mario hats. No,
And
probably
for
not.
those of you watching or those of you listening, you might be currently in the thrall of, what are they going to play at Parallel Worlds? When are they going to announce the game list? When are they going to announce the schedule? Let me tell you, We don't know. It is being decided.
Follow the Twitter. The directors are meeting, we think,
need,
this week.
We need the people to follow the account.
Follow these.
And follow them you can. You can find us on the internet at zeldathon.net. You can search various social medias. If you search Zeldathon on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and even on Snapchat, you can find our content. If you'd like to find us on Twitter, that is at Zeldathons with an S at the end. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Check out our next event. You can find information at zeldathon.net. If you're watching this in a timely fashion, we will see you during Zeldathon Parallel Worlds beginning June 4th, 2020 at zeldathon.net. Thank you again. This has been the March 1st, 2020 iteration of the Zeldathon Show. Thank you for joining us, Douggernaught, Ganon11, and Shadow Temple. This has been MoJo. I wish you a good night. There will be no more viewing tonight.